Hey, it's Pat here with another talking point. With the recent Hasbro offering of a new O-ring Duke, I thought maybe it would be a good time to take a look back at the last time that an O-ring Duke almost made it to retail. And the last Duke that did get released in O-ring was actually all the way back in 2005 with the Heavy Assault Squad Duke. That would have been, I believe, the last time that the original Duke was made. The figure that I really wanted to focus on today, or I should say figures, because we're just going to look at the set that he would have been in. It was featured in the G.I.Joe Collectors Club newsletter from January 2010. Now, this was actually the last newsletter in this format, because in February of 2010, they transitioned over to the comic book-sized format. So this was the last one that was in this format, and right there in the front, they had a regular feature where they would say, "What's new, Hasbro?" and they would just feature some upcoming stuff. And in these inside there, they actually had the G.I.Joe past and present Target exclusive sets. And there was one past and present set that came out featuring Snow Job, but these were going to be 2 packs of figures that would have included one Rise of Cobra figure as well as one O-ring figure, and they would have been Target exclusives. I guess we could probably guess that due to the fact that they wouldn't have been hitting until 2010, it may have been a little bit late to be releasing the Rise of Cobra figures again in a new package format and hoping that they would sell. These probably would have done great if they'd hit earlier in 2009. But the newsletter here is saying that it's a sneak preview of the spring 2010 past and present 3 3/4 inch figure sets. The interesting thing to me is that all of the figures pictured inside this, though, are the comic pack versions. So you see Snake Eyes, Destro, Duke, and Storm Shadow are the 4 sets that are going to come out. And all 4 of the figures inside the newsletter are actually the comic pack O-ring figure with the released Rise of Cobra figure. And we actually have here a set of mock-ups of these where you can see how they would have come out. Now, of course, it wouldn't have had this on here. This is just kind of the shape of the cardboard because this is a mock-up package, but it wouldn't have been the color of the package. It just is kind of showing you how the figures will look. This is just a piece of scrap cardboard that would have been used to create a mock-up package. You could see in here is Rise of Cobra Channing Tatum Duke, just as he was released, as well as an O-ring Duke that is not the comic pack one. It is a brand new figure that unfortunately did not come out. And in addition to Duke, like I said, there was Snake Eyes, and there was Destro, and there was Storm Shadow. Destro's a little bit interesting to me because of the fact that the head on the Rise of Cobra figure in there, you could see is the chromed one that actually was released with the San Diego Comic-Con Destro. I don't know if this is how it would have come out, or if somebody was just kind of making this look prettier, but this one is still sealed. I think it would have been interesting if they would have changed up some of those Rise of Cobra figures. But I also have some of these loose, so we could take a look at those. And here, of course, is Duke. One of the interesting things about him, or maybe not so good kind of interesting thing, is that he was going to come with, for the helmet, he was going to come with the 25th anniversary helmet rather than the original 1982-83 style Duke helmet. And it doesn't quite fit on him. Now, there's actually a couple of these have shown up on the secondary market in a couple of different colors, because here's the Duke that looks just like the one that's inside that mock-up package. And then here's another one, and you can see that the color of the pants is different. That's the first thing that stands out. But if you look at that bandolier and the collar, those are also a very different color of green. What is strange, his backpack actually is just the Tiger Force 25th anniversary backpack, which means that these only have this peg in it. Now, I believe that this would have been changed before it was done. I've actually found some other mock-ups where the pegs have not been changed over between 25th anniversary and original O-ring in order to make things compatible. So that's not really all that surprising. I just think it's interesting. Moving on to looking at some of the other figures, we might as well look at Destro. And Destro in the 2-pack, in this mock-up, his head is very shiny, but it's not quite as shiny as this one, which is chromed. This is a chromed head. And then, just like Duke having 2 of them out there on the secondary market, there's one with a standard painted head as well. And I would say that the one in the package looks like it's probably the standard painted one. Only my standard painted one that's loose has lost a little bit of its luster. Now, unfortunately, these do have some marring on the head for HM and HFE. That stands for Hasbro Marketing or Hasbro Far East. Then let's take a look at Snake Eyes. Now, Snake Eyes is also sealed, and unfortunately, I don't have a loose one. And I think that may be because he's kind of unremarkable. If these ended up being for sale on the secondary market, I could kind of see a few of them slipping through as just Comic Pack Snake Eyes figures. Even though that Comic Pack Snake Eyes had some gray details on him, I could actually see some people not really noticing. But there is the past and present Snake Eyes figure that would have come out. And of course, next to him, the standard Rise of Cobra Snake Eyes. These Rise of Cobra figures are awesome figures. I just do think that if they were going to release them that late in the game, they probably should have changed things up in some shape or form. I don't really know what they would have done with some of them, but even just the chrome head on Destro I think is a plus. Any tiny little difference that they could have made to have gotten these out would have made me happy, because it would have been our last opportunity to get O-ring figures. As it is, we have Duke from 2005 was released, and it won't be until 2022 or 23. So what's it going to be? It's going to be 17 years. Is it really? Man, yeah, it's 17 years in between releases of O-ring Duke. That's a long time. And if these had come out, it still would have been 12 or 13 years. So, yeah. Long time. Taking a look at Storm Shadow, he's actually pretty cool, but he is very much a lot like the Comic Pack figure that was released. And I do find it interesting that in the package he is even holding the modern sword for Storm Shadow. I've never opened these, and I don't intend to cut the seal on any of them, but there actually are 2 of them that were cut open prior to me getting them. So why don't we just take a look what's inside, because I'm awfully curious. You can kind of hear something rattling around in there, and the club newsletter actually shows a stand, I think in blue, underneath the O-ring figures. But let's just take a look at what is inside here, because I really don't know. I've never slid these out. Well, that doesn't surprise me that in the bottom here there is a packet with accessories. Oh, and there's a clear stand. So the O-ring figures would have had a clear stand. There is a backpack for Duke, and it still has the wrong peg on it that I just looked at. Okay, I can see it includes Duke's binoculars, that I don't actually see the standard rifle. Kind of makes me wonder if maybe that was going to be costed out, or maybe if because these are just mock-ups that they didn't have that in there. But the other one that I do have that is not sealed is Storm Shadow. So let's go ahead and see what is inside Storm Shadow, and maybe we can figure out what accessories he would have come with. The loose one that I have included the bow from the 25th anniversary figure, as well as the nunchucks that came later with some of the 25th anniversary figures, like the Hall of Heroes one, I think. So let's open this up and take a look. Alright, it looks like it's pretty much everything that came with the Rise of Cobra Storm Shadow. And those nunchucks that I mentioned are in here, so I think that that's accurate to conclude that that's what he would have come with, and so is the bow. It looks like these would not have included all of the original accessories for Storm Shadow, because I haven't seen that anywhere. I don't think that those were things that they would have had readily available, because those did not come with the comic pack figures, and these are things that were more recent, and as you could see, Duke was not going to include his original helmet, so we can kind of just look at these and realize that they would have been cool figures to get, but the accessories were not going to be the all-in kind of recreating all of the original accessories that Hasbro is doing with the upcoming O-Ring, Duke, and Cobra Commander set, in addition to all the other brand new accessories that are coming in those sets. Oh, and you know what I didn't mention? They're sitting right here in front of me. One of the cool things, and these have been online before, is that whenever these were canceled, the other thing that was dumped is really something I've never seen in relation to pretty much any other G.I. Joe figures, and that is book mold figures. Now, we're calling them book mold figures because what they are is whenever figures are painted, they're put into what is called a book mold. So you have the template or stencil, if that's what you want to think of it as, that closes over the part, and then it can be spray painted. They picked some test shots that are kind of vibrant. If they had used, you know, the darker Snake Eyes figure, it'd be hard to see some of the darker paint apps showing up on him since they were using two different colors of black on the released figure. But doing it this way, they can clearly see where that edge starts and ends in order to make sure they're getting a really good quality spray. But that about does it. Please let us know what you think, and you know, consider taking a look at that Duke and Cobra Commander 2-pack. I think it's going to be a fun one, and thanks again.
Thanks for watching this episode of Articulated Points. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'd appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to learn more about some of the toys featured in this episode or want to follow us on social media, links are in the description below this video.